This video is brought to you by catbeast.com. Design your own custom snapbacks and hats.
Major rumor killer on Brock Lesnar's return to the UFC. What are UFC executives saying about the big story that broke yesterday? Also, Paige could be charged with domestic battery over the airport incident with Alberto Patron. Also, is Sasha Banks leaving the WWE? All this right here on Off the Script Extra.
Fill your glasses up and put your headphones in, because it's time for Off the Script. And all you fucking goons and assholes, get in line and hit subscribe, because it's time for Off the Script. Hit the like button and share it around. You can even pull your fucking pants down, because it's time for Off the Script with JD from New York 206, because it's time for Off the Script, because it's time for Off the Script.
What is going on, guys? JD from New York here. Thank you so much for tuning back into the channel on this Thursday morning, July 20, 2017. This is, of course, the number one fucking podcast right here on YouTube.com for everything WWE. This is, of course, Off the Script, coming at you one day early before Battleground weekend for Battleground 2017. I got so much news, guys, that I pretty much had to do an extra video for you, because this topic in itself deserves a video all to itself. Also, the Paige and Alberto Del Rio situation, I really don't want to talk about that again, but there are new developments that I definitely want to get you guys in the loop. There's new developments as of Paige. She could be charged with domestic battery for the airport incident with Alberto Patron. Also, something that might drive people crazy, I don't know what Sasha Banks is up to, but she did post cryptic messages to her Tumblr page, which I am sure this is not WWE monitored. She's posting cryptic messages as if she is on her way out of the WWE. I will fill you guys in on that if you haven't heard the news on Sasha Banks this week. Lots of news this weekend. We're going to go over Battleground on Friday for Off the Script. We will talk about the Shane McMahon helicopter incident off Jones Beach in New York City. Thankfully, he is alive. Thankfully, he is not injured at all. He is not anything worse than injured. Thank Christ. We don't need another one of those this year. But Shane McMahon is okay. We'll go over that story. We got news on Ryback, who's a fucking goon and a half. We got a ton of news on the Mae Young Classic. Rey Mysterio possibly returning to the WWE. We'll go over that, and I'll give you guys my opinion on that. Plus, all the coverage you need for Battleground 2017 this weekend on Off the Script. Make sure you guys are subscribed down below. Hit that bell for the notification so that you guys are notified of all my daily uploads. Follow me on Twitter at JDFROMNY206. If you guys missed any of the content on the channel this week already, Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live, NXT reviews are live on the channel right now. If you guys care to know my thoughts on weekly WWE action, they are all live on the channel right now. Easily accessible with the annotation within this video. Make sure you guys go and check them out. Show some support as always. If you guys want to see my Fire Pro Wrestling World episode number 2, where we started the Off the Script Classic, a massive 16-man tournament that's going to crown the first ever Off the Script heavyweight champion, that is live on the channel right now. Samoa Joe versus Vader and Terry Funk versus Raven in the first 2 matches of the tournament. Make sure you guys go and check that out. That'll be with the other videos in the annotation that you see on the screen. One side note here, there will be a little shuffling for Off the Script, a little format change for Off the Script this coming weekend, just to make sure it's an easier viewing experience for you guys, because I know a lot of you don't really like all the bullshit that goes into part 1 I do. I love it. The people who watch love it. The sub stories, the unboxings, all that stuff. The the other stuff that goes into Friday's episode. I'm kind of reshuffling things so it's an easier viewing experience for you guys. Hopefully you guys appreciate the slight change for tomorrow's Off the Script. Also, my brother just released a new song, a new version of one of our old songs. When I used to play in my band Risen with my brother, we had this song called Venom Flows. And my brother re-recorded it, and it finally will be released this week. You guys are going to hear it first time ever on Off the Script this weekend, Friday. It's called The Powers That Should Not Be, and it's absolutely fucking amazing. Can't wait for you guys to hear it. Another musical masterpiece from the mastermind behind Legionary, my brother, Frankie D. So there you go. I want to thank everybody for supporting the Patreon page, patreon.com/JD from NY206. If you guys want to get in on that, as little as $1 a month goes a long way. Thank you so very much to everybody. You guys are getting shout-outs this weekend on Off the Script. Audible is still offering you guys 30 days free to try their service out with one free audiobook, as long as you guys are a new listener for this show. And you guys have not signed up with the program already. You guys are eligible. audibletrial.com/offthescript. And you guys got 30 days free, one free audiobook. If you guys got iPhone or Android devices, you are good to go. A lot of wrestling-related content on there. A lot of you are cashing in on that Justin Roberts book. If you guys want to hear, Justin Roberts, he was terminated because he didn't like, wood. So there you go. You guys want to hear about fucking Beaver Dunn through the eyes and ears of Justin Roberts. It's all in there. It's a good listen from what I hear. So make sure you guys go and sign up. audibletrial.com/offthescript. I'm a fucking asshole. And finally, guys, barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. Use the coupon code JD17 for 20% off all your t-shirts. Get them for SummerSlam weekend, and make sure you guys do it and act fast, because I don't know when that coupon code will expire. So make sure you guys go to barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. Let's get in on this Brock Lesnar story, man. This is the biggest story of the week by far. Actually, the Shane McMahon story was the biggest story this week. But Brock Lesnar, rumors going around that Brock Lesnar is not going to re-sign with the WWE following WrestleMania 34. I call bullshit. I call bullshit on this story. There was a leaked rumor that got out there from, I don't know who, someone on Twitter who apparently is an MMA insider. He tweeted yesterday morning that Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman met with Dana White during International Fighters Week. And Dana White met with Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman, as I believe Dana White wants Brock Lesnar back in the UFC. I mean, why wouldn't he? Brock Lesnar is a money-making machine. Brock Lesnar is one of those guys that people want to pay to see. That's just who Brock Lesnar is. I don't doubt that Brock Lesnar and Dana White are talking. And if they haven't, they will be talking. They will be talking. But this rumor went on yesterday, and it went into detail about how Brock Lesnar's return to the UFC is imminent, that he will be fighting in November, on November 4th at Madison Square Garden, the next time UFC is coming to New York City. Coincidentally, that's the same card that Conor McGregor is fighting on. I don't know who he's fighting, but I do believe that's exactly what was in the notes yesterday. And that Brock Lesnar will be dropping the title to Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. Now, none of that is credible information. None. And then we started to see more reports. We started to see the dirt sheets covered. Then Meltzer and Brian Alvarez got in on the topic. And they all were chiming in that Brock Lesnar right now reportedly is not going to re-sign with the WWE. That Brock Lesnar has already given a spoken word to WWE officials that he's not going to re-sign after WrestleMania 34. Then the idea came like, okay, well, if he's going back to the UFC, if he's going to be fighting in the UFC this year, then the WWE might be quick to, A, book the Roman Reigns-Brock Lesnar match at SummerSlam quicker instead of doing it at WrestleMania, and they might be dropping the title for real at SummerSlam and taking it off Brock Lesnar. Then last night, and I'm glad I didn't cover this story. I'm glad I was not a goon who covered this story right as it broke, because late last night, UFC executives have said Brock Lesnar has not re-entered the USADA drug testing pool. Suspension for Lesnar is still frozen. Now, I was under the assumption that Brock Lesnar's suspension was over. I thought it was over. Now, his suspension is still ongoing. If he enters the pool, he's going to pick up where he last left off. Meaning, if he re-enters the pool, that Brock Lesnar will have to serve his suspension, and the earliest he could come back and get tested again and then fight is in December. So we probably won't see Brock Lesnar fight in the UFC until 2018. And if he does, I'm sure Vince McMahon will make sure that he's clean. I'm sure Vince McMahon will want something in return, being that Brock Lesnar is still a contracted WWE employee. Rumors circulating that WWE has their eyes on Ronda Rousey. WWE has their eyes on Conor McGregor. You know Triple H wants Conor McGregor on Monday Night Raw. And WWE has their eyes on Cyborg to play up this whole Becky Lynch thing that took place last week on Twitter, where Cyborg called out Becky Lynch, tweeting Triple H to keep Becky Lynch away from me. Otherwise, you're going to have two people from the same country get their ass kicked in the same year or the same summer. Something along those lines. Because she was referencing McGregor, who she thinks is going to lose to Floyd Money Mayweather, and then Becky Lynch as well, because she's going to get her ass kicked by Cyborg. For whatever reason, there was nothing behind it. You know, I don't know if it was just a play on words. I don't know if it was just publicity. I don't know what it was, but there was no other story backing why Cyborg called out Becky Lynch. So WWE could, vouch for that and bring her on in as a way for WWE to lend Lesnar's talents to the UFC. But as of right now, UFC executives say that Brock Lesnar has not re-entered the USADA drug testing pool, and the suspension is still frozen. The talk of Brock Lesnar and a UFC comeback can just now take a back seat and cool its jets. This is according to MMAfighting.com. Lesnar has not re-entered the USADA drug testing pool, which would have paved the way for an octagon return. UFC Vice President of Athlete and Health Performance, Jeff Nowitzki, confirmed with MMA Fighting on Wednesday that the news was first published by MMA Junkie after multiple outlets reported Wednesday that Lesnar had re-entered the pool and was eyeing a UFC comeback. Lesnar's 1-year doping suspension is frozen until he does re-enter the pool. If he ever returns to the pool via a written notice to the UFC and USADA saying he is out of retirement, Lesnar would still have more than 6 months remaining on his suspension, Nowitzki said. So even if he re-entered the pool this week, Lesnar would not be able to fight again until 2018. Lesnar formally retired from the UFC and left the testing pool over the winter. If he ever re-entered the program, he'd have to serve the duration of the suspension before he'd be able to compete in the octagon, Nowitzki said. Last July, Lesnar tested positive for prohibited substance clomiphene twice in relation to his UFC 200 fight with Mark Hunt. Both USADA and Nevada Athletic Commission suspended him 1 year, with the Nevada Athletic Commission also fining him $250,000 and overturning his win to Mark Hunt to a no contest. The Nevada Athletic Commission suspension has expired, but Lesnar's USADA suspension is frozen with him out of the drug testing pool, and the clock on it will only start again once he jumps back in the pool. The UFC cannot waive Lesnar's suspension, but they could, per policy, exempt Lesnar from the 6 months of testing required of an athlete returning from retirement. That's interesting. I didn't know that. But I guess money talks. If WWE allows Brock Lesnar to go back into the UFC and Lesnar wants to jump back into the UFC, I'm sure UFC can waive this and waive the green, and I'm sure they'll allow Lesnar to fight without being tested, without serving his suspension, and then after all is said and done, he'll get tested, he'll serve the suspension again, and then we'll go on from there. But that is a very interesting wrinkle in this story. However, the UFC and USADA caught a ton of flack last year for waiving the then 4 months of testing required for a returning athlete prior to UFC 200. Lesnar's suspension has more than 6 months on it anyway. So the point right now is null and void. Lesnar, who had not fought since 2011 before last year, was only tested beginning 1 month before UFC 200 and ended up testing positive in a pre-fight test. The results did not return until after the fight, which prompted Mark Hunt to sue the UFC, USADA, and Lesnar for racketeering and criminal conspiracy, amongst other claims. Currently, Lesnar is WWE's biggest star. Ryan Satin of Pro Wrestling Sheet reported Wednesday that the former UFC heavyweight champion and current WWE Universal Champion was re-entering the pool to keep his options open when his WWE contract expires. But Nowitzki said that Lesnar has done no such thing. USADA did not respond to the MMA fighting inquiry about the matter on Wednesday evening. Do I think Brock Lesnar is going to be back in the UFC? Yes, absolutely. I do think Brock Lesnar is going to be back in the UFC. Do I think Brock Lesnar is going to be back in the UFC this year? No, absolutely not. I don't even think Brock Lesnar wants to be in the WWE. This is a man who's got his future in question already. He's already making plans, which is smart from a business aspect. This is smart of Brock Lesnar to think right now what he wants to do come April 2018. If he's thinking about returning to the UFC now, and he's already telling people in the WWE that he's not coming back, that means one of two things. One, he's not coming back, and he's going back to the UFC. Or two, Brock Lesnar right now is just throwing seeds. He's planting seeds, and he's putting it in WWE's head right now. That, listen, I'm not coming back. I'm going to the UFC. I'm getting back into the USADA drug testing pool. I want to get back into the UFC because I have unfinished business there. You know, he had unfinished business because of diverticulitis. He overcame that. He destroyed Mark Hunt. I don't give a fuck what they overturned. I don't give a shit what they labeled a no contest. Mark Hunt was destroyed. And Brock Lesnar killed him. That was it. I watched the match. I seen it. Mark Hunt stood no chance against Brock Lesnar. So you don't think Brock Lesnar felt good coming out of that fight, whether he was testing positive or not? He looked fantastic, okay? Number two, here in this situation, Brock Lesnar has unfinished business. The unfinished business did not end with Mark Hunt. The unfinished business is, again, trying for the UFC Heavyweight Championship. Whether he wins or not is a moot point. It doesn't matter. Brock Lesnar wants to do it. He is going to do it. He wants to accomplish the things that he could not do with diverticulitis. And according to Lesnar and Heyman, he feels better than he's ever felt. And Lesnar looks in fantastic shape. So why not take a chance again and go for the UFC Heavyweight Championship and try and be on top of the Ultimate Fighting world once again? What does he have to lose? He has nothing to lose at all. He wants to do it. He's going to do it. WWE right now has the word of Brock Lesnar that he's not coming back. He's not signing anything after WrestleMania 34. Why do you think Brock Lesnar has done that? You know, it's either Lesnar wants to go to UFC and say, you know what, I'm done with the WWE. Or he's planting seeds because he knows that he's got Vince McMahon by the balls. Do you think Vince McMahon's going to willingly let Brock Lesnar just leave? Do you think Brock Lesnar is just going to be like, yeah, peace out, and Vince McMahon's not going to do anything about that? Lesnar's a smart man, okay? Lesnar's a smart man. Heyman is a brilliant man. You don't think they're going to try and, you know, weasel in Vince McMahon to more money than any other time in their WWE contracted career? Give me a break. They planted the seeds. I'm not coming back till whenever. I'm not coming back at all. And Vince McMahon right now is like, oh shit, Brock Lesnar is not coming back. And that's going to sit on his mind like a fucking ticking time bomb through August, September, October, November, December, until we get to WrestleMania season. Then it's crunch time. And then Vince McMahon's like, oh fuck, Brock Lesnar's only got 4 months left on his deal. I think we should sign this guy. So what do we do? What do we do? Brock Lesnar is going to either get more money than he's ever gotten before from WWE and stay, or he really just wants to go back to UFC and concentrate on one thing and one thing only, which is Ultimate Fighting. That's the only, there's no in between. There is no in between. It's either he goes back to the UFC or he negotiates with Vince McMahon and has said publicly that he doesn't want to come back to the WWE as a leverage move to get more money than he's making right now. That's it. There's no in between here. Now, if I'm a WWE fan, the way I see it now, from where I sit on this very day, will I be upset that Brock Lesnar goes back to the UFC? No. Will I be upset if Brock Lesnar leaves WWE completely? No. I'm not. I'm not going to be upset, nor will I be upset. I am over Brock Lesnar. I really am. Brock Lesnar, to me, from a WWE fan's perspective, has been disappointing. He's been disappointing. We've gotten nothing of the old Brock Lesnar. We've got nothing but suplex, F5, 1, 2, 3. Not really what I want to see out of Brock Lesnar when I know the man is capable of fucking so much more. I mean, Brock Lesnar is a shell of his former self. The way he's been booked creatively hasn't been interesting at all. They did the Goldberg thing, which was kind of interesting, but it ended up being predictable garbage by the time WrestleMania 33 came. So, by that point, I was like, I'm over this shit. And then, in typical Brock Lesnar fashion, WWE only has him contracted to 25 or so dates. He's not going to appear on every show. He takes the title. He holds the title hostage. The people who are full-time on the show have nothing to fight for, while Brock Lesnar comes back in the summer for the next big event, which is SummerSlam, and then appears on television, and that's it. That's it. Now, the best thing that Brock Lesnar has done in his run with WWE for the last 3 years is what he's been doing now with Samoa Joe. That is the best that I've seen Brock Lesnar look. Seriously. The promo work with Joe, the interactions with Joe and Heyman, that's been the most believable I've seen Lesnar in all 3 years on this current WWE deal. The stuff with Goldberg, garbage. Didn't really care for it. Shock and awe at Survivor Series, it led to the Royal Rumble, it led to Lesnar winning the title. It was very predictable. Anything before that, I really didn't give a shit about either. The stuff with The Undertaker, I didn't give a shit either. I really didn't care. I didn't care. Other than that, I don't care if Brock Lesnar leaves the WWE. I think everybody right now is over the Brock Lesnar aspect of him being the biggest guy in the WWE. I think everybody's over Brock Lesnar being the Universal Champion or the WWE Champion. Part-timers. I think everybody's over that shit. I'm not really all that concerned if Brock Lesnar leaves the WWE. I know Vince McMahon will. Vince McMahon doesn't want talent to go anywhere, whether it's a rival wrestling promotion or the UFC, in Brock Lesnar's case. This is more than likely a leverage move for Brock Lesnar to get more money out of Vince McMahon. And I'm sticking to that. Because it's been done before. It's been done before by Brock Lesnar, and I would not doubt Brock Lesnar is doing the same thing and using the same tactics again right now, earlier than ever before, to get Vince McMahon, and push his back against the wall and say, listen, I'm not coming back. You want me? Sign me. Offer me more money. I'll think about it, but right now I'm eyeing a UFC return. So this is going to be a very, very interesting situation. Literally came out of the blue yesterday as news was running crazy all over the internet. Again, I think it's a leverage move. Brock Lesnar will not be back in the UFC this year. If it will be, it'll be in 2018 when his suspension is up and then when he gets tested, obviously. I'd love to see him back in the UFC. I'd love to see him be successful once again in the UFC. It'll be far more intriguing, and it would be, from a fan's perspective, a little bit more time investment there than compared to his WWE run. That's just the way I see it. His WWE run has been fucking filled with just garbage. Dean Ambrose, they haven't done really anything with Brock Lesnar. They put Goldberg over, 50-year-old Goldberg, and then now he's the WWE Universal Champion. He's doing great shit with Samoa Joe. And hopefully, going into SummerSlam, as the report said yesterday, dropping the title to Roman Reigns, that's a mistake. I think the WWE, if they are thinking about taking the title off of Lesnar, I think Samoa Joe is the ideal candidate to be Universal Champion right now, because you take the title off one legit guy and put it on another legit guy, and there's no way anybody watching the WWE product does not think as everybody else is thinking, that Samoa Joe is not this legit guy. He certainly is this legit guy. You want Brock Lesnar to be champion? Why? Because he's fucking legit. And he makes the title important just by who he is. Samoa Joe, I think, has gained that respect from a lot of people. And putting the title on Samoa Joe is going to be an easy transition from Brock Lesnar to Samoa Joe. And maintaining that legit aspect. Roman Reigns getting the title, that would be typical WWE rubbish. And I don't want to see that. I think Samoa Joe right now deserves a run with the championship. I think he deserves to have a run with the championship through the remainder of 2017. And then you reconvene in 2018 and you come up with plans to what you want to do from the Royal Rumble on to WrestleMania. But I think Samoa Joe is the right man to take the title off Brock Lesnar. If WWE is thinking about taking the title off Lesnar this summer, I think Samoa Joe is the right man. But the rumor killer is Brock Lesnar has not re-entered the testing pool as of right now. He could certainly do so anytime he wants. He could come out of retirement. It could be this month. It could be this week. It could be today. We don't know. But I will keep you guys updated on when Lesnar does re-enter the pool. When he does re-enter the pool, that will give you a clear-cut indication that he does want back in the UFC. But where does his WWE connection lie? We don't know. I still think he's using that as a leverage move. And WWE will do anything that they can to keep Brock Lesnar because they know that Brock Lesnar is the link between the two worlds. And a business partnership with Brock Lesnar in the middle between WWE and UFC has Vince McMahon all smiles. Anything that's going to make Vince McMahon more money, anything that's going to get ratings on Vince McMahon's side, if he wants to use Brock Lesnar like that, he will use Brock Lesnar for that. If Brock Lesnar is not within the WWE family, Vince McMahon has no more ties to UFC. So Vince McMahon will do everything that he can to sign Brock Lesnar when the time is right and offer him even more money than he's making now. What is he making now? $6 million a year? $6 million a year to be contracted to 25 or so dates? I mean, Brock Lesnar's got the easiest job in the fucking world, man. Show up 25 different times throughout the year, wrestle 3 or 4 matches throughout the year. Who's got it better than Brock Lesnar? You know? Of course he's going to try and leverage Vince McMahon for more money. Why wouldn't he? If I was Brock Lesnar, I'd do the same thing. This next story is something I really don't even want to talk about because I have talked about this the best possible way that I can. I uploaded a whole video on this when the incident first broke. And then we got revolving stories about what really happened. We got the story from TMZ. We got the story from some random lady in the airport taking pictures and video and recording audio. Then Paige came out and gave her version of the story, in which she actually did explain that Alberto should not be charged with battery, that it should be indeed her be the one charged with battery. I don't really give a shit about this story, but it's in the news and I have to report it to you guys. I want to keep you guys up to date the best that I possibly can on everything. But last night, Pro Wrestling Sheet and Ryan Satin confirmed that police have determined Paige should be charged with battery in regards to the airport incident involving Alberto Del Rio. But it's up to the state attorney's office to make a final decision. A representative for the Orlando Police Department tells Pro Wrestling Sheet the OPD detectives have found that probable cause exists to charge Soraya Beavis with battery and domestic violence. Detectives have sent the information to the state attorney's office for review, and the SAO will determine whether to file charges in this case. Now, they previously reported that Paige claimed that she was the one being held for battery at the airport, but police had previously stated Alberto El Patron was the only person being investigated. Despite all of this new development, the investigation for Alberto is still ongoing and it is not complete, so we don't know what fate awaits him. Now, he's been suspended from Global Force Wrestling. Alberto actually was stripped. He was stripped of the WAW World Heavyweight Championship. That is a promotion owned by Paige's family. Now, this is what's going on with that. The WAW promotion owned by the Knight family, Paige's family, has stripped Alberto El Patron in light of all this new evidence. And he was their World Heavyweight Champion. No more. It should be noted that they never mentioned Alberto by name. The family has been critical of him on social media, so this should tell you how much dislike there is for him from the family. I don't understand that. If your mother, your father, and your brothers have all come out and said that they do not like this man, and I understand she's her own woman, I understand she's living her own life, but there's no better people in this situation to get a grasp on this situation, to get her to think clearly and see straight than her mother and her father. I mean, if you are going to disobey, if you're going to ignore the feelings of your entire family for this scumbag, what does that tell you about Paige's character? Doesn't really tell you much of anything. We know that she's immature. We know that this guy is bad for her. But it also tells us that Paige is one stupid fucking idiot. She's her own woman. She could do whatever she wants. In fact, I would not be, even to this day, even with this evidence, I would not be shocked that she wants this and welcomes this to happen. I honestly believe. Now, she's fucking stupid, but I honestly believe she wants out of the WWE. And if this actually comes to be and she is arrested, she will be terminated from the WWE. I think this is what she wants. I think this is what she wants. She don't care. She don't care. She can make her name on the independents, but at that point, all the bad stigma, all the bad just shit surrounding Paige and Del Rio and them as a couple. But more importantly, Paige, because fuck Del Rio. If she wants a job anywhere else, if you're an independent promoter, are you going to sign Paige? Are you going to welcome Paige to come on in, knowing what she's been through and the accusations that she's been through and the trouble she's been in, the bad news that's just been Paige for the last year and a half? If you're an independent promoter, you're going to sign this woman to wrestle for your promotion? I wouldn't. I don't give a fuck how big of a name she is. I don't give a shit how much money you can make off her. I would not bring her in. So she has to think about that. You got to think about what you're doing long term, because you're already ruining connections with WWE. If this comes out to be true and she is arrested, she will be terminated, which I think she wants. But will anybody else bring her in? Will anybody else give her a job? Will she be able to find work anywhere else due to this situation? Because people are already blacklisting Alberto Patron from their list of wrestlers working on the independent scene. These people aren't going to be wanting Alberto Patron after this. He's lucky Global Force Wrestling gave him the World Championship. He's plastered all over fucking television because they got 6 weeks of tapings done. So while this is going on, this guy's being highlighted with his family on television, with the fucking championship as the face of the company in major storylines. He doesn't deserve that. But that's the way they want to do things. They suspended him. Are they gonna strip him of the title once they find out that he's mixed in with this situation? That cocaine was involved, and drugs were involved, and alcohol was involved, and, they find out that he was beating Paige? Because you're not gonna make me believe that this guy wasn't beating Paige. Yeah, Paige could be charged right now, but who's to say Alberto wasn't beating Paige before this incident? Nobody knows. That's why I hope the investigation does go on and on and on, and Alberto Patron is charged as well. But if Paige is charged, she is done. But it's very difficult for me to sit here and tell you, I'm sorry, I feel sorry about Paige. I honestly feel like this is what she wants. This is what she wants. The family stripped Alberto of their world championship. The family dislikes him. That's all you need to know. So what you mean, what this means is that Paige disrespects her family if she's not listening to their wise words and she's not listening to their concerns. She disrespects her fucking family. I know if my mother told me something. I know if my mother told me, listen, honey, I think this one is bad for you. She's not good. I'm worried about you. She's going to end up hurting you. It's just that motherly intuition I have. You think I'm going to fucking disobey my mom? You don't think I'm going to take my mother's word into fucking heavy consideration? What kind of fucking daughter is Paige, man? Coming off as a real fucking ignorant, stubborn, stupid idiot. Give me a break. A few days ago, the PWE promotion in Scotland announced that they were pulling Alberto from their anniversary shows. No word yet on what Global Force Wrestling plans to do with Alberto. Other than that, he's just currently suspended. Now, WAW, the promotion owned by Paige's family, they made an announcement without mentioning him that the decision was announced by Zach Knight, but no information was revealed regarding the crowning of a new champion. Since the announcement, several individuals have been announced as wrestlers who have stated, I guess, their desire to compete for the title. Both the European Heavyweight Champion Robin Lekamy and British Heavyweight Champion Aaron Sharp have already revealed their desire to add more gold to their repertoire, as well as former World Heavyweight Champion Brad Slayer and former European Heavyweight Champion King Kendo. With 4 of WAW's top competitors already eyeing the most prestigious title in the company, will anyone else step forward in hopes of gaining public support? So that is the official announcement. I believe they did announce a 32-man tournament will be announced or has been announced to determine a new undisputed heavyweight champion over the course of the rest of 2017, with the final taking place at Epic Studios Norwich in December. The entrance into this tournament will be deliberated by WAW over the coming weeks before brackets are announced. So Del Rio's title was stripped. They're having a 32-man tournament. Good for that promotion, and good for the people who are in that tournament competing for a title that clearly Del Rio did not deserve. Did not deserve. Because if he did deserve it, then the family would be like, you know what, we love Alberto. He's right for our daughter. You know, he's a good man. He's not. He's a piece of shit. He's a scumbag. He's a douchebag. And those types of people need to be treated as such. So now he's paying the consequences because they know the truth. The family knows the truth. And they've come out on social media. The fucking father, I don't know if he said anything yet, but the brothers have certainly said something on social media. You know, I'm sure the fucking family has called Paige and spoken to Paige about this situation. I'm sure they have. You know, if their family's now reaching out on social media asking for help in this situation, that's like a last-ditch effort in this entire thing. I'm sure they already took the appropriate steps to talk to Paige. She don't want to listen. And now it's gotten to this. Now she's on the verge of being arrested for domestic assault against Alberto El Patron, and she could be on her way out of WWE. Now, the WWE policy states as follows. They have zero tolerance for matters involving domestic violence, child abuse, or sexual assault. Upon arrest for such misconduct, a WWE talent will be immediately suspended. Upon conviction and arrest for such misconduct, a WWE talent will be immediately terminated. So if the people in Orlando in charge of this investigation think that Paige should be arrested, as soon as she's got those cuffs on her, her WWE career is done. And like I said before, I honestly think this is what she wants. But if this does come to be, you think she's going to find work anywhere else? I don't think so. The best thing she could have did is leave this guy, realize that the most important thing to her right now is wrestling. She's cleared to go. WWE doesn't want to bring her back. They're going to have no choice but to follow the policy and let her go. Even with this new movie The Rock is doing with Thea Trinidad as Paige, or as AJ Lee, and then I think I don't know who the fuck's playing who, but Thea Trinidad's in there, and The Rock is filming a documentary on Paige's family, the Knight family. Even with the movie coming out, WWE's going to have to adhere by the policy. It doesn't matter, you know? They're not going to suspend The Rock's movie. She's an idiot. She's a fucking idiot. She ruined what could have been a promising, great career. A woman with so much promise, coming up from NXT. You know, the inspiration of so many little girls out there. Now look at her. She's a fucking mess. She's a fool. 24 years old, 25 years old. Ruined her fucking career over Alberto Del Rio. Is it worth it in the end? No. Hopefully, she doesn't get arrested. And she can finally realize and somehow wake up one day and realize, listen, what is most important to me is family and my wrestling. Vince, I'm sorry. Hunter, I'm sorry. I'm going to leave this guy. I don't think that's going to happen. Wishful thinking, but this is a fucking sticky situation. And as soon as Paige is arrested, I'll let you guys know right here on Off the Script. In this final story on OTS Extra, Sasha Banks. What's going on with everybody's favorite Sasha Banks? You know, everybody is just too involved. These casuals, you know, these fucking super fans out there, you know, who watch one individual and don't give a fuck about the rest of the product. You know, they're all over Sasha Banks, right? They're all over Bayley, or they're all over Roman Reigns. They don't give a fuck about anybody else on the roster, but their number one superstar. You're so involved in their life. You got people out there that know Sasha Banks by her real name. They know her fucking family's name. They know her dog's name. They probably know where the fuck she lives. You know? They know what time she fucking wakes up, takes a shit. They know what time she fucking pours a bowl of cereal and a cup of coffee, right? They know everything about these people. Everything. These are the people freaking out over this cryptic message. Over this fucking message that didn't span more than 7 words. All it said, Sasha Banks recently went to Tumblr, which I don't know if it's a WWE monitored page. We found out about this through her Twitter page, which I know is monitored by WWE. So I'm assuming her Tumblr page is monitored by WWE. I'm wondering why Sasha Banks would say anything negative on any social media outlet because of her positioning in the company right now. She's in a major program. And if WWE catches wind of her being somewhat negative in any way, not really going to bode well for Ms. Banks. But she posted on Tumblr that got the attention of WWE fans. She posted simply this: 2 more years left. New beginnings coming. This post has a lot of people thinking that she could be leaving the WWE in 2 years. We don't fucking know. We don't know, you fucking goons. This could mean anything. Anything. This could, you know, the first thing that popped in my head when I read this wasn't the fact that she's leaving WWE. I'm trying to think of other things that this could possibly mean. Maybe her and her husband have 2 years left on a fucking mortgage for the house that they just purchased. New beginnings coming. You don't have to have that fucking mortgage payment at the end of the fucking month every month. That's what I was thinking. Everybody's over here freaking out. Oh my god, Sasha Banks is leaving the WWE, man! Where do you get that in that fucking Tumblr message? She's leaving the WWE. Maybe she wants to leave the WWE. Do you know? Do you know for sure that you got Sasha Banks on speed dial? Yeah, hey, yo, Banks, you leaving the WWE, bruh? Oh, okay. Are you fucking kidding me? She's leaving the WWE. Why don't you fucking clowns worry about the 2 years that Sasha is with the WWE? Why don't you worry about the 2 years that Sasha has left in the WWE? You know, she's in a major program with Alexa Bliss. She's going to be in a women's championship match at SummerSlam. I'm sure she'll have about 3 or 4 different fucking reigns as women's champion in those 2 years. The way the title switches back and forth on a fucking monthly basis. So don't worry about what Sasha Banks is doing. Seriously. And again, if she has 2 more years left, do you honestly think Sasha Banks wants to be away from what WWE's doing with women's wrestling? Do you honestly think Triple H is going to allow Sasha Banks to go anywhere else? Do you honestly think Vince McMahon, whether he likes Sasha Banks or not, do you honestly think he wants any talent to go anywhere else? To another rival promotion? Do you know what Sasha Banks could do in a Ring of Honor or a TNA or the Global Force Wrestling? You think he wants that? Of course not. They're not going to let her go. No matter what she says now, that could be a totally different story 2 years from now. You know? Things could happen to Sasha Banks' career where she's like, you know what? I look back on that Tumblr tweet or that Tumblr message and I really didn't mean that. But it could mean anything. It could mean anything. People are freaking out over this Tumblr message right now. Why? Worry about the 2 years you have with Sasha in the WWE now instead of worrying what she's going to be doing 2 years from now. Are you fucking kidding me? These fucking fans are so goddamn fucking stupid. Anyway, Sasha Banks actually had some pretty big praise for Peyton Royce and Billie Kay. Sasha Banks is in Australia now. She was interviewed about her wanting to main event WrestleMania. And she also mentioned Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, who are exports from Australia. They are known as the iconic duo in NXT and have been featured on NXT television a lot over the past several months. Sasha thinks both women are the future of the WWE's women's division. I think they are the future. They are incredible and have such passion for this business, and I love watching them. Banks also mentioned Peyton Royce and said Peyton reminds her a lot of herself and is excited to get Peyton on the main roster. They are amazing, and Peyton Royce reminds me a lot of myself. Her favorite wrestler is Eddie Guerrero, and I love watching her. She is incredible in the ring, and I can't wait for her to get called up to the main roster. That's some pretty high praise from one of WWE's most popular females. I can't wait to see Peyton Royce on the main roster as well. I've grown to really enjoy Peyton Royce's work. I think she's much better than Billie Kay. I really don't care for Billie Kay too much. She hasn't grown on me as much as Peyton Royce has. But I would like to see Sasha Banks versus Peyton Royce. I think that'd be a fun feud. I think that'd be a fun match. You know, yeah, obviously, I don't know how they would fare well on on Monday Night Raw. I see Peyton Royce and Billie Kay as more of a SmackDown duo, but I get everybody that comes up from NXT I see as a SmackDown superstar, because that's how much dislike I have for Monday Night Raw, and that's how much that's how little trust I have in Monday Night Raw. But that's some big praise, man. Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, I do believe, will be the two women that get called up following the Mae Young Classic. I think as soon as the Mae Young Classic ends, a lot of those women are going to get signed and placed in NXT. And I think Peyton Royce and Billie Kay have proven, especially Peyton Royce, have proven already that they should be on the main roster. So it's going to happen this summer. I don't know when, but we'll see where they go. But I do think they are bound for the main roster by the time we conclude SummerSlam. And I think a Sasha Banks versus Peyton Royce match would be actually pretty interesting, man. So we'll see what happens with that. But Sasha Banks, don't worry about the Tumblr message. Don't worry about it. Worry about what's happening now. We got SummerSlam coming up. She's with Alexa Bliss in a championship match, who I think should win. I think Sasha should be the new women's champion. And you guys know how I have already just planted seeds, fantasy booking-wise, for Sasha Banks and Bayley at WrestleMania 34. You guys know my story on that. I think that is the greatest story that should be told here. Don't worry about what she's doing. Worry about what we are doing with Sasha Banks right now. Peyton Royce and Billie Kay. Big praise also from Sasha Banks this week in the news. And that is the news on this episode of OTS Extra. Thank you guys so much for joining me this morning. If you enjoyed the video, hit that thumbs up. Subscribe down below. Hit that bell for your notification. And make sure you guys show love to the sponsors down below. Patreon.com/JD206. AudibleTrial.com/OffTheScript for your free audio book and 30 days free of Audible service. BarberShopWindow.com/OffTheScript. Coupon code JD17 at checkout. And CapBeast.com with the coupon code JD10 at checkout for your 10% off. I will see you guys on Friday for episode 179 of Off the Script Battleground preview and predictions. Also, the unveiling of my brother's new song, The Powers That Should Not Be, and Wrestle Crate unboxing, man. We got a lot going on Friday. Join me for Battleground all weekend long. We'll be live streaming. We'll be having some fun news and rumors all weekend about Battleground. Major news and rumors this weekend on Off the Script. Hope you guys have a great Thursday, and I will see you all tomorrow for episode 179 of Off the Script. I am JD, and I'll see you guys later.